Welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Thierio. Tonight we are graced with a soldier third class as voice actor Austin Lee Matthews is hanging out with us at the gaming table. We are joined by my lion's mane sidekick, Jason Belidio.
How's it going, guys? How's it going?
And returning from his hiatus on the grid, our very own Ram, Theo Wolski's with us tonight as well.
Talking about hiatus. I was on 2 episodes ago. Doesn't count as a
And
hiatus.
Austin should understand that reference because of what we were talking about on Twitter this week.
Yeah.
How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing actually very, very good. Things have been crazy for the last a month and a half, but things have been at least good in the Austin centric world, at least.
Yeah. So how are you feeling on this? As we're recording this, 2.5 hours from the official 100% launch of FF7.
I absolutely cannot believe it still. I have been looking forward to this since they announced it. I've been hoping for it since way before they announced it. And Final Fantasy VII is, as I've said on Twitter and stuff before, it's a big part of my life, even before I was ever able to actually play the game. So seeing the remake come out, it feels like a dream, an absolute dream.
How are you holding up with all the craziness?
I've been keeping up with it pretty decently, I gotta say. It's been picking up pretty insanely over the last few days. I've been a horrible influence on the shipping community, but you know. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been cool seeing the fan reactions, and as the copies have kind of started petering out to places, hearing people's reactions to Roche has been just nothing short of delightful, honestly. And yeah, people really seem to like the game. They seem to like the characters. I from what I've heard, people are just like, this is like one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see
how big it is?
I would imagine it's enormous.
It is 7 CDs.
Jeez.
That's right.
Geez.
I did.
What?
It's 7 CDs, and I'm very excited because it actually launches on my birthday, so I'm definitely gonna have to get it.
I saw that and I was like, are you 7 CDs for this game?
Hey,
not?
it's Final Fantasy
FF7,
you know?
come on
yeah.
now.
Right.
I mean, I think even 13 was 24 tracks, so it was like 2 discs. 15, I think it was in the realm of 2. So, I mean, if that gives anybody comparison, you know, we're in for a lot.
And well, the thing is that like the music is, they've been, I guess, like adding a lot of similar like concepts to different areas of of Midgar. So like, you know, you'll get different variations of the battle theme and different music everywhere, and it sounds gorgeous so far.
I've played the demo a few times already.
I have played the demo 3 times.
Just a few times?
Half a dozen.
I played the... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was like, one of them was with Cody. He wanted to hit the buttons on the controller, so I put it in classic mode and let him just do his little thing for a bit. But no, a lot of it was just playing and going like one run. The last run I just did was more just exploring, just that little area within the demo, just looking at the little, you know, the details, the hidden things, like the nickname that Barrett calls Cloud in the very beginning. There's a poster of that character. Was it Scamp or something like that? That's Stamp.
Yeah.
You know, it's hanging on the wall in the train station, essentially. Mm-hmm. So it's just been more of that. So before we get into the news, all right. So let's go to our Costco minute. Jason, how you holding up?
God, minute.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like I was just joking with the guys. all dressed up, all nerd-esque. They're laughing at me, saying I should have a pen in my pocket, but instead I pull out a mask. Like that's
I
how
mean,
crazy it's gotten now.
that's the
Like,
tool of the trade right now, man. That's the tool.
They have
of
you
the
guys
trade.
dressing up at Costco?
well, I mean, it's like they want us to be like, look professional and stuff. The funny thing though is that like now that everybody's wearing masks in my store, even the members, employees, like we gotta everybody please respect the social distancing because everybody has this tendency to get really up close to everybody when hey
Well, you're selling gold, Rumpelstiltskin. I
I
mean,
know
come
no
on.
but I mean like just back up a little bit. Like I can hear you fine. Through the mask I can hear you fine. Just
Yeah.
calm down, guys.
Well, at least you survived another week.
I did survive another week.
Yeah. Theos, how's your internment at home?
Speaking of Costco, we actually have 2 of our Costco's have had cases of COVID-19.
Oh, great.
Right?
Oh, goody.
Yep, exactly. One
Is that
one
the
is
is
the
that
one
the one up on
over by me on Highway 7.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if it's my Highway
And
7.
then one more down in Colorado Springs. So, yeah, that's great. I mean, I literally have not been off my street for 2 weeks now. But
Nice.
I mean, I keep telling everybody I'm like professional grade introvert, so this is where I shine. Like this is nothing.
Okay, hold on though, because while you're supposed to be working, you're exploring some new horizons too.
I do that during my lunch break. Thank you very much. Not while I'm working.
The entire day. So
Hey, we never said how long my lunch break was.
hey, I've played it a few times while I've been working from home. So we officially moved to 100% work at home, other than for our weekend rotations and if you absolutely cannot work from home to your internet. But it's I gotta say I love working for my company because they sent out an email to some of the our customers, and I got one of them because that benefits through them. But Anthem is going to cover COVID testing and COVID treatments, 100%.
Nice.
Good.
So I want to give a shout out to my daytime employer because that's not something. I mean, honestly, from a bottom line, that's gonna hit, right? But they're not worrying about it. They're saying, hey, let's take care of our members, let's take care of our employees, so they don't have to worry about it. So, yeah. And speaking of companies taking care of things, Sony set up a $100 million fund, of which 10 million is going to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund, which is set up by the World Health Organization, United Nations Foundation, some Swiss philanthropy, Doctors Without Borders, UNICEF, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Part of the fund is also going to go to educators who are now teaching from home, and kids who have to learn remotely that wouldn't be able to do it otherwise, as well as members of the creative community in the industry as well. So I applaud Sony for doing this. When a lot of companies are sitting there trying to say, well, we need bailouts and finding ways to try and lay off employees at the same time as getting that, they're going out and saying, hey, we have $100 million in the bank. We're going to help fight this.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo.
Yeah,
So-
that's really, really cool of them. I'm very, very much applaud that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, of course, you're working, granted, work for Square Enix, but it's an exclusive to Sony. So I think, for them doing this in this time of days, I think is amazing. Now, also, Sony made some news, and I want to talk about this, is say goodbye to the DualShock. As of the launch of PS5, we're no longer going to have a DualShock insert number. It is now going to be the DualSense controller. So the DualShock 4 is going to stay intact. Austin, did you see the pictures of the controller?
Yeah,
Out on Twitter? Yeah.
It's very interesting looking. It's kind of it kind of feels like a hybrid of all of like the current console generations controllers into one, because it's got the parallel sticks like the PS4. It's got the shape of the Xbox controller.
That's what my wife said.
yeah.
She said it looks like an Xbox 3 or Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
But they're keeping most of DualShock 4 intact. The touchpad is staying. The light bar is moving off of the top, and now it's going to be on the sides of the touchpad. Just little blue, just little light channels there.
I like that decision.
The share button is now becoming a create button. Now, they didn't give any details on what create is going to mean now, but I'm assuming it's going to probably allow you to go right into like Share Factory or something and actually do editing, creating through there. L2 and R2 are now becoming adaptive triggers. You're going to have a built-in microphone array, so you don't need a headset. However, if you want to, you can still use a headset.
Interesting.
And then in a statement by Jim Ryan, who's the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE, aka PlayStation, he says, DualSense marks a radical departure from our previous controller offerings and captures just how strongly we feel about making a generational leap with PS5. The new controller, along with many innovative features in PS5, will be transformative for games, continuing our mission at PlayStation to push the boundaries of play now and in the future. To the PlayStation community, I truly want to thank you for sharing this exciting journey with us as we head towards PS5's launch in holiday 2020. We look forward to sharing more information about PS5, including the console design, in the coming months. Key in there, holiday 2020. So with us talking about COVID, it doesn't seem like COVID is going to impact Xbox Series X or PS5 for launches at holiday 2020, aka the week before Thanksgiving.
I mean, it's still too early to say. I think they're gonna be like just about ready. I don't know if it's gonna be one of those launches like the PS3 where it's just such a high demand and they don't have the units for it. I feel
I don't think they're gonna have the units available. I think it's gonna be like PS4 when it first launched, where you couldn't find them for a while.
Yeah, I think there is gonna be a little bit of a break.
It'll be like the Nintendo Switch when everyone was stocking GameStops and Best Buys and stuff for shipments. So Austin, you were kind of the thank God when I was talking about the built-in mic.
Yeah, because I hate wearing headsets unless I'm doing voiceover. Because all the headsets are always like, all the good headsets are really so bulky.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like, putting headsets on while I game, just because like I like to at least, hear what's going on around me outside of that, just so I don't get completely, sucked in.
Right.
Because when I have my headphone cans on, I'm usually doing voiceover. I'm usually working. And so I don't exactly want to feel like I'm working while I'm playing games.
I get crap from everybody because I still use the earbud that came with the PS4. But the same thing like you talk about is I want to be able to hear around us, and since we've got the newborn and we've got a 2-year-old, I want to be able to hear if they're crying or whatever.
Absolutely.
And when you're wearing noise cancelers, you can't hear anything.
Absolutely. The only time I like to have headphones on while I'm gaming is for VR, and that's it.
I have yet to do VR.
It is a lot of fun.
That's because you can't handle VR, dude.
You know what? I'm scared because with 3D I get those excruciating ice pick temple type
I still think
headaches.
you'd be okay since it's a screen per eye. I think you'd be okay.
It's come a long way.
Yeah, exactly. It has come a very long way. I remember the first time that I tried a VR headset, I would get repeatedly nauseous. It really depends on the game, how you move around in the game, and how I guess the game is textured. Because a game like Beat Saber and Archangel don't get me sick. But then something like
have you played have you played a game that you voiced in VR yet?
Archangel, yes. Archangel. I voiced a character named Bulldog, and he's kind of I describe him as if Falco was human and Southern. Yeah, that's basically Bulldog in a nutshell. He's the guy who's like, I don't want to be here, but I'm going to help you out anyway.
I'm referring to Wit.
Oh,
Have you done
I haven't
Ace
done
Combat
the
in VR?
I haven't played Ace Combat in VR yet. I really want to, but I just haven't yet because I'm terrified of heights. So like I will say I played the Kingdom Hearts VR experience just because I wanted to sit on top of Twilight Town Tower, and even that for me was like, okay, this is cool, but help.
Oh, so yeah, we'll real quick, just a friendly reminder to everybody on the podcast, because we missed it last week because we had a fellow castmate of Austin's on with Vic. So the PlayStation free games this month are Uncharted 4 and Dirt Rally 2.0. So honestly, guys, if you picked up Uncharted Trilogy, you got to pick up Uncharted 4 so you have the full story on that. No reason not to. And then with Xbox, Games with Gold, really quick, Project Cars 2 is all month. Knights of Pen and Paper 1 and 2 is April 16th through May 15th. The Fable Anniversary Edition is the 1st through the 15th. And then Toy Box Turbos is the 16th through the 30th. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that career there, Austin.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Because everybody, everybody wants to know about Roche, which we'll get there and whatnot. But let's kind of touch
only
a little bit on
character, right?
I know.
Just in a little unknown game that nobody's gonna get.
So we have, and what's nice having you on, because as I was looking over your IMDb, you have a lot of anime on here.
I have a ton of anime on there.
We happen to have someone that pretty much half of his bought TV shows on his iTunes account is all anime.
So?
Don't hate.
Don't make it sound like it's
supporting
bad.
the official release.
Welcome.
So, as we look over it, highlights, you've got Magi, the Labyrinth of the Magic.
Yes.
You've got
Such a good show.
Alnoa Zero.
Yes.
Which is funny about that is because you actually were in that show with two of your castmates from FF7.
Which two? Erica Lindbeck,
Erica Lindbeck and Max Middleman.
Oh yeah, Max is cool. I really want to meet Max sometime. He's always just come across as one of those cool guys. I actually, he's actually he beat me out for Saitama in One Punch Man, and it was one of those moments where I'm just like, well, no, it was like one of those things where it's like, oh man, at least I lost to somebody good,
Dude, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I would have loved that, but Max is a much better fit for the character than I am, so that's all that matters to me. Is that the role fits,
And speaking of Max, you guys were also in 7 Deadly Sins.
Yes, we were.
Yep. And then you were also in Beyblade Burst.
Yes, as Xander.
So yeah, you've got a nice little list here. You've also got Ghost Rider: The First Ride.
Oh yeah, that's a pilot that my friend Haley was putting together. It has since stopped production for a few reasons. But she was working on this pilot called Ghost Rider Reimagined, and she'd been working on it for a while, and one year around Christmas time, I surprised her by writing an entire pilot for it. And then took it an extra step and voiced it for her. And
nice.
did all the music and all the sound effects. And she was like, is it okay if I animate this? And I'm just like, yeah, I gave it to you. Do whatever you want with it.
Nice.
And it got completely storyboarded, and the rough animation, I think about halfway through with rough animation, and just too many life factors got in the way. But it is one of those things. I am very proud of that project and how far it got, and just the fact that seeing my writing animated was really, really nice to see, especially by Haley's my favorite artist, like ever. So getting to see my favorite artist animate my words was so cool. I have nothing but love for that whole thing.
And you've gotten you were in Kill la Kill.
That was the first anime I ever did. That was a freaking awesome anime to do because
very cool.
I had literally just finished watching it in Japanese, like when they said, "Hey, so we're gonna call you in for Magi, and also can you do Kill la Kill tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do Kill la Kill tomorrow."
Yes. Yep, and you've got Shattered Heaven on here, Sword Guide, the animation, TMNT Sewer Squad.
Oh yeah, I voiced Raph in a commercial. I don't know where. I don't know where it aired, but I voiced him actually in 3 commercials called the TMNT Sewer Squad, which was like this kid, and he was like, saying like, today on Sewer Squad we have some breaking news coming from the sewers, and then you got Raphael who was talking like this, and he was like saying like, "Hey, Donnie's playing some video game. Uh-oh, I think he's going nuts, man." And I actually, of course, had to buy the Raphael figure as soon as I saw that it aired. And oh yeah, that was a ton of fun. That was one of those things where I was like, man, I know this is just a commercial, but I'm playing my favorite Ninja Turtle. How cool is that?
Dude, Raph is my favorite Ninja Turtle.
I love Raph. That's my
Raph
boy
and
right
Michelangelo.
Mine's always been
cool.
Mine's Donatello. It's always
I like
been
Donatello. You would.
I like them all.
Hey, what can I say? It's the nerd side in me.
He does machines.
Yes. And you know what though? I can still remember seeing TMNT, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in theaters. When that thing first came out.
Such a good movie.
And you got to see them all on the big screen. And then they went and did Secret of the Ooze. But some movies you just shouldn't do sequels to, and I think they could have left the first one alone. But just hearing them on the big screen like that after growing up having the toys and stuff as kids, it was like, wow, okay. Now you have a passion project of yours, so why don't you let everybody in on what Megaton Girl is about?
Oh man, Megaton Girl. Megaton Girl is a show that I have been working on in various forms for about 7 or 8 years now. It was I originally wrote it as a video game, and then I remembered, oh hey, right, I don't know how to make video games. I should probably do something a bit more my speed. And so I wrote it as a screenplay, and then I decided to rewrite it completely. And it slowly over time turned into an animated series. And then we decided that we wanted to scale back even more, because I wanted total control over it. And I didn't want to have to deal with, studio executives getting in the way. And so I'm just like, how can I make this in a way that I can have total control over it? And so I decided to just turn it into a radio play, or a podcast, or whatever you want to call it, a scripted drama podcast. And it is about a girl named Connie who she lives in this city called Los Dioses, California, which is if Los Angeles was a city of gods instead of a city of angels. And there are superheroes throughout the entire world. They're well known and they're treated like celebrities. And Connie gets hit by a meteor and becomes a superhero. And her best friend turned girlfriend Laurel becomes kind of her publicist and then her coach. And it's about Connie and Laurel helping make Megaton Girl the best superhero in the world, and also to dethrone this I don't know if I can swear, but a-hole named Captain Valiant, who is this superhero who's always abusing his power, and he's the head of this company called Olympus Illustrated, and so he uses his media influence to make himself, look even cooler to everybody and puts down other heroes, and it's just this whole big thing that I've had in my head for a while. And I finally released the pilot a couple months ago, and it was
That's awesome.
so cool
Nice.
getting to actually bring that out. And we're working on episode 1 right now.
And
Oh.
I recommend it because I actually finished listening to the pilot today. Finally
Oh,
was able
thank
to go
you.
back. Yes, I've actually been I've been listening to it in parts, like
Mhm.
here and there, just based on time, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna, while I was getting everything ready for the podcast, I had it running on YouTube, just in
Oh,
the
cool.
background, and I love the voice acting, and it just, it's a radio play. I mean, it harkens back to the 40s, where you're listening to these guys just performing on the radio and having to believe these stories, and it's well written. The voice acting was great, and everyone seems to play really well off of each other.
Everybody brought their absolute A game with it. Everyone is so tight in that show. The comedy works really well because everybody else works well together. The guy who everybody says constantly steals the show is Sean Shiplock as Dr. Menace, who tends to be like a fan favorite character because he is just big and bombastic, which is hilarious because he's 3 feet tall. So he's got all this, infinite cosmic power and an itty bitty living space.
Yes. Best core of the show. Yes, thank you.
And I absolutely love everybody in that. And it came out very well, I think. I had a blast with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So let's look at your gaming side now and some highlights there. So you were Dav Carlson in Wasteland 2, which, for those that don't know the history of Wasteland is the inspiration for which Fallout was built on.
Yes.
And Fallout is littered with Wasteland references.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I even knew about that in the beginning was the fact that I've got a very good friend of mine, the other best man at my wedding to Theo, loves Fallout. He loves Wasteland. He is such a buff. I mean, Theo, you've seen Grant's collection for Fallout figures. I mean,
even his full on all his books of Wastelands and everything, dude, and like even his Wi-Fi network name is Wastelands.
So there's that game. So it's kind of nice to see that they came out with a sequel to it. It really is, because like when Fallout started becoming this thing, it was like a lot of people were like, well, is Wasteland just going to die off? Is it never going to be a thing? And well, lo and behold, they came out with a sequel for it.
And the third one is actually coming out, I think, this year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
So to touch more on your career, you've also been in with Summon Night 6, God Eater 3.
Yeah, fun game.
You were in Transformers.
Yes, that was the first video game I ever recorded. It was just one of those things that just kind of fell into my lap one day, and I'm like, oh, Grimlock, that sounds familiar. And then I recorded it, and I was like, wait a minute. And so I did some research and was like, oh, crap. That was crazy. That was, it was one of those things where that game itself is small because it was a mobile game that I was in it like literally at the tail end of the game's life cycle. I think I was like in like the last big like event that they did before they closed the servers. But that was just crazy. Like when like the realization of like, wait a second,
You're
that Grimlock.
Now your 2019 was super busy.
It was incredibly busy. It was exceptionally busy.
You got playing Wit in Ace Combat 7.
Mm-hmm.
You played Sid in Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You were the Time Cop in Citizens of Space, which is it was what Citizens of America was the first one,
Citizens of Earth was the
or
first
Citizens
one.
of Earth was the first one. Yeah.
It's a kind of Earthbound kind of a deal. It's like if Earthbound had Paper Mario battle system.
Yeah.
It's
That's awesome.
hilarious. It's got a very like Futurama kind of a sense of humor. It's so
I keep
fun.
seeing it, and it's like, God, I'm just gonna buy it and just play it, and just it's like one of those ones. It's like maybe, you know.
I play a bunch of characters in it, so keep your ears out if you do play it.
You were Time Cop, the Sticker Collector, and Quack McCool in Citizens of Space.
Quack McCool.
You were in Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions.
Yeah, that was recent, very recent.
Yeah. Red Star Azimuth. And,
I think that's still coming out.
And Grand Guilds.
Grand Guilds is also very recent. I think that just launched last week. That was a.
It got pushed into 2020.
I think that was a Kickstarter thing that they got funded, and they came to me and like, hey, do you want to audition for this? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And then they had me as this big dude named Monaco who looks like me but with green hair. And he is a very fun, lovable party member, and I'm really, really happy to see that finally came out.
Nice.
And then this year, you've got Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners.
Yes.
Which is a VR first-person shooter that is on Windows and PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Developed by Skydance Interactive.
Same people who behind Archangel, which is the first VR game that I did.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the game that officially, as of right now, launches in 1 hour and 53 minutes. And that is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, indeed.
You play Roche.
Yes.
Let's do the official Square Enix summary of Roche, who is a 3C soldier, so third-class soldier, operator who loves bikes, speed, and anyone capable of going toe-to-toe with him. A demon on wheels, he is ostracized by many in the organization due to his antics and general disregard for anyone's safety. Now, for Theo and Jason, this is where the whole Tron thing came into play, because Austin posted a picture of Roth on his bike. So I turned around and posted a picture of the light cycles from Tron Legacy and said, my bike is faster.
That actually made me want to watch Tron Legacy again. I was actually talking about it a little bit when we were playing D&D.
Yours might just be faster to scale, since Tron's is like really, really small.
So we were kind of going back and forth and then comparing FF7 to Tron Legacy, and somehow, we ended up going Don Corneo against Caster. So it was honestly, though, awesome when you look at the parallels, though. You weren't far off being that they're calling them mob bosses.
I would absolutely say that that's a pretty very accurate assessment. They're both they both kind of I don't know if like I can never remember his name from Tron Legacy. Is it Luz?
You mean the guy at the bar?
Yeah, I can never remember his name. He comes off as about as lecherous as Don Corneo does sometimes in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, let me look that up. So let everybody in kind of what you can as far as Roche's personality, at least, because we don't want to ruin, any spoilers, because honestly, this is one of the new characters coming into the Final Fantasy universe.
Yeah, I want people to be able to experience Roche for themselves, but to give an idea of who Roche is he is just a fun-loving daredevil who does not give a damn about anything except going fast. He is bombastic, over the top, and downright hilarious at times. And he is just obsessed with speed, and I think that a lot of people will see he's got another obsession as well that comes into play at some point. And I really don't want to give too much away, just because he is so fresh and so new, and I want people to experience him for themselves. But he's just, he's so much fun. He's freaking hysterical.
So let's use that to segue into some of our fan Q&A.
Okay.
So Darren Simmons from Rusty Rupees podcast, who's going to be on next week as part of our big Final Fantasy episode, he asked what it was like learning that you'd be playing a new character to Final Fantasy VII.
So my agent calls me one day and she says, "Hey, Austin, got a role for you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she's like, it's you're playing this guy named Roche, and I'm just like, and I immediately just say, "Oh shit, Roche." And she's like, yeah, that. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know." And I hang up the phone and I immediately break down into tears. And was just like, "Oh my God, I'm in Final Fantasy VII and I'm a new character." And it was one of those things where when I had sent the audition, I was like, "There's no way in heck that I am getting this role."
Did you know that you were auditioning for FF7?
It was very obvious.
Okay.
They didn't call it FF7. I'm not going to say what they called it.
Of course.
Because you're still under NDA.
Exactly.
But
But
kept the character name because you knew what you were auditioning for.
yeah, it was the language that they used and the names that they used in the script were like, "Wait a minute, this is Final Fantasy VII." Like this, I was like, this could be any Final Fantasy game because the art style in the concept art, I'm just like, that looks very Final Fantasy. And then as I got further in, I'm like, it is Final Fantasy. Oh crap, it's Final Fantasy VII. Oh. And so I'm just like, there's no way they're gonna pick a way bigger fish than me to play this guy.
But you say that, Austin, but look at the cast.
Yeah, look at the cast.
There's really, other than Cody and Tyler, there's no real huge name.
There's really not.
Everybody that they've picked fits who they're playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So to you, I would, just because you're saying, yeah, you're not a big fish, but dude.
Yeah, I think that they made the right choice with everybody. I do think I'm a very good fit for Roche, but I feel like everybody else is so good, such a great fit. Like hearing like the first time I heard John as Barrett, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's absolutely Barrett.
Yeah.
And Aerith has so much life to her now, and Tifa's great, and Cloud is great, and Sephiroth is chilling as hell. Getting to see the characters that we haven't heard before, like Jesse and Biggs and Wedge and Don Corneo, all of them so good. And I really feel like they just knocked it out of the park with this cast. So good.
I want to ask you on that because you and I were talking, and your first real foray into FF7 wasn't the original game, it was Advent Children.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah, so how is it with this cast versus the Advent Children cast? Because that is something that has been, it's divisive. You know, people are like, well, you should have gone the Advent Children route. Well, no, let's go with a new cast. And for me, I think they can be utterly separate. You can have the Advent Children cast because technically it's in the future anyways. So who cares?
Yeah.
But it's just like, you can have two sets. You really can. And how does it feel when you have the Advent Children in your head, but then you hear all the voices now, like Barrett and Cloud and Sephiroth?
I feel like the tones of them are different. Very different tones. Some of the characters feel different now. 'Cause Advent Children is a very, very good. I really like Advent Children, and I love the Advent Children cast. And I feel like they actually probably would have done a great job here as well, but they wanted it to be fresh. They wanted it to be new. They wanted it to be a remake. And I do feel that bringing on new blood was a good call in that sense, so that it feels new. It feels what is old is new again. And I will always have absolute love and respect for the Advent Children cast. And I am actually I am acquainted with Quentin, and we got to chat for a bit last year, and we did an improv show, and he to me is such a great fit for Reno, and by extension Axel, and I hope that people can love both of them equally. They can love them for the same reasons, they can love them for different reasons. I just hope that people like don't try and pit the casts against each other, because that's just not cool.
Which they're trying to.
There are people who are going to do that no matter what.
I saw a tweet that they're trying to start a petition to basically re-record all the audio to have it re-released as like DLC or something for Final Fantasy VII Remake using the Advent Children cast.
I can't comment to that. I don't know anything about that.
I was like, guys, come on, just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Just, you haven't even played the game yet, and you're automatically hating it.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna, have preconceived notions about everything. I hope that they can move past that. I hope that they can love this just as much. I hope that the casting choices don't impact their enjoyment of the game. And I hope that, everybody keeps loving the old casts as well. Because freaking Advent Children is so important to me. Just growing, it was such a big part of my high school experience. I've seen that movie like 50 times. And it never gets old to me.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does not. I have watched that movie with my grandma. Because she was like, I like this Sephiroth guy that you cosplay. And she's nuts about video game music, and then she loves One Winged Angel, and I'm just like, hey Mom, I'm gonna show you this movie, and I gave her like the rundown of Final Fantasy VII, and she's like, oh, okay, so it's a sequel. I'll try and keep that in mind. And she was just like, that was really cool. I didn't know what was going on, but I adored every minute of it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Well, to that point, then, if she does happen to, let me pull it up here, because I actually have that track. I'll pull up here in a second. So you actually answered one of the questions by the narrator, which was, at what point of being accepted did it actually sink in? You answered that one already immediately.
Tears.
He actually had another question. He's like, do you have a favorite line that you did as Roche? And is it something, like, I'm going to preface this with, is it something you can actually say on the podcast without it spoiling anything?
Oh man, because he's got a bunch of really great lines. He's got a lot of really fun, really cheesy one-liners. Nice. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of like one out of context. There's one that really sticks out in my head, and it's not my favorite line, but it always makes me laugh because when I recorded the line, I was like, to me that came off as a very like, I sounded almost like Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm just like, I'll have to like listen back to that to see if that was just like in my head or whatever. And there's a bit where he says, "I most certainly am." And whenever I hear that, all I can hear in my head is, "I'm gonna do the best I can."
Yes.
And-
Dude, you're so
that-
awesome.
So this is for your grandma. This is for your grandma, just in case she happens to listen to me being on this podcast. And you know what's funny is I listen to this track, right, and I can see that scene in my head from Advent Children.
Oh yeah.
When that music hits, and it's like, "Hello, Cloud."
Good to see you.
It's almost like, "Did you miss me?"
Like the first time I saw that scene, having never played Final Fantasy VII before, just when the minute that Kadaj turns into Sephiroth and you just hear, "Good to see you, Cloud," I'm just like, "Oh, here we freaking go."
And I love the respect that they paid to the game during that whole battle sequence, because you got to see just about every one of Cloud's limit breaks.
You do.
Trying to beat Sephiroth.
Like, I only had that realization recently because I watched a video on YouTube recently that was every limit break used in Advent Children, and I was just like, "Oh wait, there's that. Oh crap, that's that one. Oh, there's Braver," and I'm just like, "Oh cool."
Yeah.
And it was really cool, like having that realization now that I've actually properly played the game. But that scene is just cinematic genius. Every moment is just more over the top than the last. And the Advent Complete version is just the minute that wing comes out in Advent Complete, I'm just like, "Oh yes." Oh my gosh. And the Advent Complete version of One Winged Angel, Advent One Winged Angel, is, I think, my personal favorite version of the song. Just because it goes so hard. It kicks you in the teeth, and like the original orchestral version with just that bump, 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 bump. It's really, really cool, and I like that. But there's something about the instrumentation of Advent Children that feels more just like an absolute punch in the gut when that boom, 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 boom starts. I'm just like, "Oh yes, please. Hello. Thank you for talking dirty to me, Mr. Uematsu."
Hey, Nomura can do no wrong when he does these scores.
I mean, Uematsu?
Or Uematsu, yeah.
Yeah, Uematsu is one of my all-time favorite musicians. I think it's Toby Fox, Uematsu, Shimomura, oh gosh.
So we had a Twitter thread going about this too.
Yeah, I had a whole Twitter thread talking about this. Yeah.
I think that breaks up there too. Like for me, Jason Graves is another one, because I mentioned him. He did the Order 1886.
Mm-hmm.
He's a BAFTA award-winning composer. So yeah, he does amazing work. So now, Dandy_7 asks, how did you prepare for your audition and role, given there's no reference to research on the character?
So they did a very good job of describing the character to me. The description that everybody has been getting of him is very much the description that they gave to me.
Okay.
I got for those of you who are getting the deluxe, or I think it also came with the first class edition. But for those of you who are getting the concept art book, they gave me some concept art that you actually will see in the book of Roche. That's the concept art that I got of him.
Okay.
And oh gosh, like they also gave me like the reference in Japanese. So I had Kenta Miyake screaming in my ears the whole time I was auditioning for it. Can I just say, okay, I gotta say, Kenta Miyake is so good as Roche. He is so good. If any of you get the chance to, if you play it either, whether it's your first time through or your second time through, try listening to Roche in Japanese. It's a completely different but equally as hilarious and fun experience, because he goes so big with him and so just different kinds of dramatic that I do. And there's a bit where he speaks in English here and there. So there's like a bit where I say a line where I refer to Cloud as my friend. And Kenta Miyake, I have this really long line that ends with my friend, and the whole line in Japanese is just my friend. And I'm just like, oh yes. And when we were watching that to dub it, I have this script and it says blah 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 my friend in English, and then the director says, all right, let's watch the Japanese to get the reference for it, and then it pans around and he says my friend, and the director falls out of his seat laughing his head off. And we needed to take about 5 minutes before we could like get back into it, because it's so full of life that you absolutely have to experience it for yourself. He is such a great voice actor, and I'm really happy that I got to be able to match up with him. So that was so good.
So the new Shinra Corporation, it's their name on Twitter at AngelSS71975869, says, what has the character Roche come to mean to you?
Oh man, Roche is my favorite character I have ever played ever. I have played a lot of really fun characters.
Well,
I played a
real
character
quick.
last year. Go ahead.
So at PipSync2004, there's your answer.
Yes.
That was PipSync's question too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Roche means basically everything to me. I have so much love for Roche just as a character. I put so much just passion and love into this character, and the entire time I was recording, I just had my face hurt from smiling after all of my sessions that I was like after I was done, because he's just so freaking fun. And there are like little flourishes in there where like real talk, I have a major crush on Cloud, and you can kind of hear that in my performance in some bits. So just being able to like, hear that in there is like, oh, yep, there that is. Yep, it's there again. But he is just, oh my gosh, he is such a fun, delightful character who is, aside from the reckless abandon of other people's lives, is, I think, a guy who I can look up to as someone who is full of energy, and he is absolutely. I played a character last year who I love slightly, just very barely less than Roche for different reasons, but as like on a career level and on a what this means to me as someone who is kind of surrounded himself with Final Fantasy VII specifically, for most of his life, it means the world to me to be able to bring life to this guy and to be able to be a part of this universe and to be able to match wits with Cloud, and just to be able to say that, hey everybody, I'm in Final Fantasy VII. I'm trying not to cry right now. But yeah, I absolutely adore Roche so much.
So the real Nanaki, actually, one of his questions was, how does it feel to be a new character in an established universe? I think you just answered that question.
Yes, I seem to be blowing through the questions pretty handily.
So let's go with the question he's asked every single Final Fantasy guest we've had on the podcast.
Okay.
So he's asked John, he's asked Bree, he's asked Vic. The question is, if you could play any character, real or fictional, who would it be and why?
Oh man.
Same response he gets out of everybody. With
Yep.
There's so many. Sonic is definitely up there.
Ooh.
Sonic or any Sonic character, honestly. I'd be happy with Knuckles or Silver or Shadow. Especially Shadow. I love Shadow. Oh man, I'd love to play a Marvel character officially. Oh man, probably any Sonic character, specifically Sonic or Shadow, but I'd be happy with just about any of them because I love Sonic 2 on Game Gear was the first game I can ever remember playing. I know the first one that I ever played was Donkey Kong, but I don't remember playing that one before Sonic, but my parents insist that Donkey Kong came first.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's give you a break from a little Q&A for a second here.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, as always, I gotta ask,
Uh-oh.
when you're playing, as you played Final Fantasy VII, what was your main team?
Okay.
What was your three go-to?
Cloud, definitely. Vincent. And I tended to change it up with the third slot. But I typically rotated between Barrett and Tifa. I think I had Barrett more so. Just because I love Barrett so much as a character, and I really enjoyed I enjoyed how he played. But I also threw in Sid occasionally. I had to throw in Sid because I am a Sid. So I had to have a Sid on my team sometimes as well.
Wow.
But Cloud and Vincent, I really, really liked how Cloud played, and Vincent is he's just crazy. I love Vincent.
Yeah.
And my fiance Vincent too. We had a Vincent statue, but it unfortunately broke at the same time that our Sephiroth statue broke.
No.
So yeah, we were moving a bunch of stuff, and they both ended up breaking. But we're glad that we at least had them at some point. And Vincent is just, oh God, I gotta hang up. I think we have a Cloud wall scroll that we still need to hang up, and a Vincent wall scroll that we still need to hang up.
Okay.
I'm actually there. Go ahead.
Were you able to get Vincent's final form?
Oh yeah, I did that immediately. Yeah, I immediately, as quickly as I could, unlocked Chaos. I immediately unlocked Chaos and Omni Slash as soon as I could.
Because the first time I went through, I totally missed. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
You weren't looking for it,
Chaos is cool. I really like Chaos. Such a cool limit break.
So, Austin, this is that point of the podcast where we kind of like do the round table what we're playing. So I'm going to start with you as our guest. I know you are a gamer and everything. So what have you been playing lately?
Well, I kind of have been playing a bunch of things right now because we just got a new TV, and I've wanted to see how everything looks on the new TV.
Ooh.
Nice.
In the last few days, I have played Sonic Unleashed, Borderlands 2 and 3,
Yes.
Animal Crossing New Horizons, Burnout Revenge.
Austin, I'll have to give you our Switch codes.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that.
I've got 70 hours in on that, I think. 80 hours almost.
I can't.
Wow.
I can't, guys. You guys are going too much, man. Like,
Jason, it's honestly not that bad. Like even I've been playing it, and I haven't been getting that many hours in, but still, like you don't have to put in nearly as many hours as they are.
I mean, everyone that I've known so far that has Animal Crossing is like, oh yeah, like I'm putting in like this many hours, and it's like the perfect timing right now because what
We've
else?
all got the time for it.
I know.
Yeah.
So everyone's just nonstop
perfect.
Animal Crossing, like, oh, what are you doing right now? Oh, I'm just fishing and Animal Crossing. Oh, I'm just,
Pretty much.
I'm just checking out my crops and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, my God, like, and all my friends now are just posting their pictures of like their little island setups, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys, like, I can't get in that. And they're like, Matt's trying to get me to play. Theo's trying to get me to play.
Yeah, dude, come on now.
Come on.
Too much peer pressure.
I will say the first game that I played on the new TV was I played the FF7 demo for the third time. I had to see how it
There
looked.
you go.
I didn't realize that like clouds almost got freckles in 4K.
Oh yeah, I've got a 4K HDR monitor my PS4 Pro is hooked up to. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
So Theo, anything else outside of Animal Crossing?
I mean, playing MTG Arena in between doing work every now and then. That's how I do.
Our last,
I mean,
your last week at work.
I don't really
Josh?
need to actually put in like 8 hours a day of work into New Horizons like some people I know.
I don't do 8 hours worth of work.
I'm talking more your wife.
Right, dude. She's moving her trees again.
I know, and she's like moving houses and everything too, and it's crazy.
Dude,
But
listen
it's insane how efficient her island works, though.
I don't know. I have to give it up to Elise. She's got a really nice island.
My buddy Curtis has terraformed it, so he's got like mountains and the water coming off both sides and all these huge waterfalls.
That is
and
cool.
goodness.
Dude, I want
Yeah.
terraforming so bad. I need that freaking concert to be done. I need it.
I haven't
want
even.
terraforming too, but my fiance is the one who owns the island.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So Jason, what have you been playing?
Dude, it's been a while, but I started up League of Legends again. And yeah, and they had the team fight tactics, and I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty fun. Like, you might actually be interested in this one, Theo. Team fight tactics. You can get on the phone too. But it's
Really?
that's
Because
been,
like I tried League of Legends and I couldn't get into it.
no, but the team fight tactics is like it's like a nonstop Magic draft kind of, and you get to watch them fight and stuff. It's interesting.
Alright.
It got me playing it again. Still on with Final Fantasy 14. Still looking for that raid group on Brunhilde. So if you guys have a raid group out there, send a shout out. I'm a tank or a DPS.
I mean, we talked about it last time, but here's his resume.
Yeah.
He at least has 7 completions at E3 raids for the past 5 years. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's experienced enough to just throw down. Okay, just join him up.
Yes.
Yeah, so just hit me up on Brunhilde, it's like, what's up? Send a shout out. And still just looking at the Sekiro box and hating its guts still. Not trying.
You guys did it to yourselves.
Well,
sadly.
I mean,
that was on
Play
you.
Sekiro.
Like I said, it's just taking a break right now.
Okay,
since
you
we're-
realize it's going on a long break because
Well,
Jerry's going to
indoors.
be diving into FF7.
See, this is the thing
So-
though. Like, if I were playing it before, it was like, hey, I can go outside and do something else. But right now, if I
Yeah.
play it, I stay inside and I'm just hating the rest of the day. Can't deal with that.
So
Can't deal with it.
I
Just
put
take
in,
a cold shower in the fetal position and reset.
Yes.
Oh man.
Think you're
Have you heard of?
Think you're
Have you heard
Sam
of the
Bridges.
Sekiro, Austin?
Think you're Sam
Oh,
Bridges
yeah.
in Death Stranding. Just take that shower.
Sam the delivery man.
Yes.
That's what my fiance calls that game. When it's time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play Death Stranding, and I say okay, and then I'm like, wait a second, don't you mean Sam the delivery man? And my fiance goes, yep.
So I got some more work in on Luigi's Mansion 3.
No. Oh,
Ooh.
is it
I have all the booze caught.
Austin, we
I
have to
have-
give you a little context. This is
Yes.
the only game to ever make him rage quit and nearly break a
Oh,
controller.
So
And
Austin,
he is like the most level-headed gamer ever. Like he
Yeah.
gets pwned on Call of Duty and doesn't even phase him. But no, Luigi's Mansion 3 just makes him toss.
not once, but twice.
That's
So-
really funny.
And I took 3 months off. I didn't even touch the game. And then my 2-year-old Cody, he's like, puppies? I was like, what are you talking about? And he looks and he's like, he sees my Switch menu and he points to Luigi's Mansion 3 and he goes, puppies. It's because he's got the little ghost dog that follows him around.
Oh yeah.
So that's
okay.
So yeah. So basement, it's what, B2. The boss of that level made me rage quit twice. Throw my controller and everything.
I still need to pick it up. I haven't touched it yet.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that boss is pretty much the hardest boss in the game, and he's only halfway through. He's like, he flattens the curve, and then it's smooth sailing after that. But I have caught all the boos. I have 3 more levels to finish off to get all the gems.
Nice.
I spent today going through getting all the gems for every level. I still need to find the rare ghost. I'm gonna have to Google that though because I haven't come across a single rare ghost yet. And then all I gotta do is fight King Boo and finish the game. So I'm probably about 90% of the way through.
You got that
So
90%.
It's going to sit there because in an hour, if I'm still up and still awake, I may play a little FF7. If not, I'm getting up early before work and I'm playing it. I won't be able to play it while I'm at work. That's what Animal Crossing will be. Anyways, yeah, Animal Crossing. Just been doing that. I just had my 10th villager move in.
Oh, I need to recruit
I am maxed out on that. I just paid the 50 grand to move my museum.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I want it on my island. Just saying. So other than that, yeah, I just got my second room and I owe Tom Crook another $500,000.
Oh,
Ooh.
the never-ending debt. That's the only thing I remember.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm at the 350 for that extra room.
Yeah. So
I think I have another 50K before I can pay that off.
Jeez.
yeah, welcome to the world of Tom Crook the Nook. All right, Austin, we got to ask you the question we ask all our guests.
Okay.
What is your favorite game to play for game night with your family and friends?
Oh man. There's a few, but I think the one that gets played the most is probably Mario Party 3 probably is the one that gets played the most.
3.
Nice.
Yeah. I know everybody probably prefers 2 over 3, but 3 is more. I prefer the mini games more in 3, which is to say that I prefer Eats a Pizza over literally every other game in Mario Party 2. I prefer the aesthetics of Mario Party 2 more, but there's so many more mini games and they're way more fun in 3. But that's the one that tends to get the most plays, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's a good go-to.
So Austin, why don't you let our listeners know where they can find you on social media?
I need to look because I always forget the difference between my Twitter and my Xbox handle. Oh, come on. Oh, Firefox update. Blow off. Okay. It's on my phone. You can find me at Amtrax VA. That's AMTRAX VA. On Twitter. You can find me just at Amtrax on Tumblr. And then you can check out Megaton Girl on YouTube.
Nice.
Absolutely. So, Austin, I want to say it was a blast. Thank you for coming on and doing this and giving people a glimpse into Roche, who is a new character that we're all going to get to experience here in a little over an hour.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to playing with Roche too. I'm probably not going to get him until Monday, but we'll see.
Bro, you're making me need to rewatch all of the anime that you're in right now, and I guarantee you, I own at least half of it.
Probably.
They're all fun.
Yeah, that's why I went digital and physical.
You did? Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't go digital. I went deluxe physical just because I really wanted the physical. Yeah.
Oh, I want them both.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted all the pre-order stuff.
Of course.
And the our physical, my steelbook is going to become our official souvenir for the podcast because we're going to be, hopefully, as long as this thing kicks away, in June we're going to be in LA.
Yeah.
And I plan on having it get signed by
Oh,
people
yeah.
that have been on this
There you
podcast.
go.
I will definitely do that for you.
Are you in LA?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Oh,
So
dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
okay,
We
so
will.
it's already been kind of talked about and discussed. Vic, John, us, you come along and I'll go do dinner when we're in
Okay.
town.
Sounds good to me.
And I'm bringing the steelbook with me to have it signed.
I'll make sure to bring a Sharpie.
Sure, Matt will bring 10 just to his backup, so you're perfectly
Don't worry.
fine.
I
Really?
got
Do I
one
need
in
to
my pocket right
do I
now.
need to pull Star-Lord?
Yes.
I got one in my pocket right now for you.
Bring-
You're only
bronze
doing
Sharpies.
that just because you know it's true.
Bring bronze Sharpies. It shows up better than silver.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, anyways, to all our listeners out there, I want to thank you for crashing game night as always. If you like what you heard, please leave those comments. Whether it's on Twitter at CGN Podcast or at CGN_Matt, you do it on iTunes, whatever platform you're listening to us on. Because honestly, guys, I love seeing those comments. It's been great seeing those comments, especially during these times that this podcast has been brightening your guys' days and giving you a laugh. And I hope we continue to keep doing that, even outside of COVID. And I want to say, everybody, be excellent to each other and stay frosty.
So a quick shout out to Austin. Thank you again so much
Thank
for coming on.
y'all. Thank you for having me on.
So
You know,
awesome
it's
having you on.
Final Fantasy VII is just around the corner, guys. So let's all enjoy it
Here
to
we
its
go.
fullest. Me and my wife are both going to be hunting it down tomorrow and picking it up and literally spend our anniversary together in bed and playing Final Fantasy VII.
That's the dream.
10-year anniversary, and here we are going to play Final Fantasy VII all day in bed.
Sounds like a dream to me.
So shout outs to my wife as well. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
For putting up with your
For
stuff.
putting up with me,
Right.
and But shout out to all you listeners out there. Thank you again.
All right, Theo, send us out as only you can.
All right, guys. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
Good night, everybody.